What's the worst thing your nightmare stepmother has ever done? My stepmother and I have despised each other since the day my father introduced us, but I'll never forget the Saturday afternoon she sent me a video call request while clearly intoxicated. When I answered, she was standing in our backyard next to a burning trash barrel, laughing maniacally. "Guess what I just did?" she slurred. "I finally got rid of all your precious dead mom's garbage. It's all burning right now." "You did what?" I screamed into the phone, feeling my entire body go numb with shock and rage. She just cackled even louder, tilting the camera to show me flames consuming what looked like photo albums and clothing. "I burned everything. It was all worthless junk cluttering up my house anyway. I've always hated how you people kept treating her like some kind of saint. You need to move on already. Honestly, you should thank me for doing you this huge favor." I couldn't form any coherent response. My throat felt like it was closing up as tears streamed down my face. I simply ended the call and sat frozen on my couch, unable to process what had just happened. Within seconds, my phone started exploding with notifications from her. She was sending me dozens of photos, close-up shots of ashes, charred fabric, melted picture frames, each accompanied by multiple laughing emojis and crying laughing faces. Then came the voice messages. "They're gone! Everything's gone!" She kept shrieking gleefully, her voice dripping with malicious satisfaction. "Your mom is finally out of our lives for good. How does it feel?" My dad and I were actually on a fishing trip at a remote lake cabin when this nightmare unfolded, so I immediately ran to his room and pounded on the door until he woke up. At first, he thought I was overreacting about some minor argument, but when I shoved my phone in his face and made him watch the video, scroll through the photos, and listen to her deranged voice messages, all the color drained from his face instantly. He stumbled outside onto the cabin porch, gasping desperately for air like he couldn't breathe. I followed him, terrified by how pale and sweaty he'd become. Before I could even ask if he was okay, he collapsed onto the wooden deck, clutching his chest and groaning in agony. I realized with absolute horror that he was having a cardiac episode right in front of me. Thankfully, we had barely enough cell signal for me to call emergency services. I begged them to send a helicopter because we were 40 minutes from the nearest hospital by car. The wait for the medical helicopter felt like an eternity. Those 17 minutes were the longest of my entire life as I watched my father struggling to breathe on that porch. When the paramedics finally arrived and loaded him into the helicopter, one of them pulled me aside and told me very seriously not to get my hopes up, that his vitals were extremely unstable. And throughout this entire life-threatening emergency, my phone kept buzzing relentlessly with call after call from my stepmother, demanding that I answer and probably wanting to gloat more about her destruction. My father survived, but he filed for divorce the moment he was discharged from the cardiac unit. As for my stepmother, I made absolutely certain she faced consequences for what she'd done, both legally and socially. But that's another story entirely.